I'm going to take you through 5 different types of content and campaigns that you should be using to nurture leads that you're getting. So if you're trying to build a growth engine and you think you're just going to buy leads somewhere and that you're going to just handle them all the same and you're going to get results from that by just hitting them with the same information, you can have like one funnel. It's very naive. It will work some of the time for some of the people. But if you want to close leads at 10, 15, 20% of your volume versus like 2, 3, or 4, you need different types of content. So we'll break that down. So let's start with the basics and then we'll go into like how other things get layered in. And then we'll show you what the complete strategy looks like. All right, so basics. Number 1, you need to have a few core nurture sequences. Core nurture sequences. So we call these prospect engagement campaigns. These are long-term flows. They're set up with like 6 to 8 to 12 weeks of communication, and it's just consistent. And some people call these indoc sequences or indoctrination sequences. They're designed to introduce people to you, to your firm, to your values, to how you help people. And remember the principles we talked about. They would have appropriate context for the audience. They would have social proof, and they would have tools. So these things are worked into a nurture sequence. So do you have a funnel like that for each audience you want to attract? That's the question. You need to have different funnels. I can tell you right now, at Snappy Kraken, we are B2B, not B2C. And arguably, it's easier for us because we have all financial advisors and financial advisory enterprises as clients. But we are having more success with micro campaigns. That means we've started marketing differently to administrative assistants and to advisors who are individual, to advisors who are part of teams, to enterprises that are mid-market, to enterprises that are large, even though it's all financial services. And with consumers, you've got more diversification than that even. So what you need is your core messaging tailored for each audience, and you want to have that ready to go. So every single lead that comes in, the system, to build on what we've talked about so far, recognizes who they are, where they fit, dynamically segments them, and moves them into the sequence that's relevant. Retirees get the retiree sequence, high net worth investors get the high net worth sequence, and so forth. All broken down by interest. So, for example, to build on that, right? If I'm a high net worth investor, so the system, they come in, it recognizes this person likely has 5 million or more in investable assets. Now, you can change the number however you want to think about it. You can call it 1 million, whatever works for your model. The individual begins to get content that is tailored to them. So like this one, they opt in, they come in, a first email might look something like this, right? If you have more than X million in assets, consider these strategies. Short, they're busy. And 1, 2, 3 bullet points. And then a call to action. Now, as you build on these, there's 7 emails. The next one might be a client story, social proof. The next one might be a tool, but it's all set up, ready to go. So you don't have to rethink that strategy every time. And it's all designed to push them to a place where they can request more information or book a meeting. So imagine if you get a lead from somewhere like a third party, it comes from Dataline or Zoe or FPA Planner Search. They know that brand. They don't know you yet. You have to build trust with your brand. So these should be branded for your firm, always, and they should have messaging tailored to the individual. So that's the first basic type of content. You need prospect nurturing sequences for your audience. If it's only one, fine, or audiences that you serve. Now, number 2, you have to understand that even inside of segments, people have different learning styles. You know that to be true. So to tailor your approach for different learning styles, you begin to pepper in visual content. We have something called a Visual Insight newsletter that we produce every single month, and the visual content is different. It's designed for people who like to learn that way. It's also part of a campaign, but it is less branded, more interesting, and different. It's like You go to the buffet and they have the same 5 core items every week, right? That's your nurturing sequences, your prospect engagement sequences, like we just talked about. But then they have the rotating specials. Well, that's how you can think of a Visual Insights newsletter. It's like a rotating special on the menu. Comes in and comes out, but it's always something new, something different and interesting. A lot of times what we do with these is we include interactive elements, things like quizzes and other things that they can interact with, clicking through slideshows or interactive maps. And these things drive more engagement with your brand, but it's for a different learning style. So don't think that people only learn the way you learn. And this is a big mistake advisors make with their content. They're like, well, I don't like it. Well, you're not your clients. Well, I just don't, I would never read something like this. That's right. But you have an MBA in finance. They don't. It seems childish to me. You have an MBA in finance. They don't. So you have to have content for the intellectuals and the finance professionals, and you have to have content for the millionaire next door. And that is how your strategy becomes more effective. And what you'll find is over time, the engagement for your audience will start to become evident. You'll be like, oh, wow, I'm finding my audience actually likes more of X than Y. And I didn't know that because I never tested those, but now I can see it clearly. And speaking of visual content, after people have been engaging for a while, you need to include video. And the best type is a video from you. So if somebody's been getting these step-by-step sequences, right? Text only. Maybe there's some interactive elements. And now they're used to your brand. They're starting to be interested in your content. And then you send a video campaign. Now, by the way, you don't have to do all this manually. The system can be set up to do this in sequence automatically. But now, like the 10th or 15th or 20th communication is video. And maybe it's something like this. This is a very high intent offer. When is it time to hire a financial advisor? This particular video is designed to motivate somebody to book a meeting who has been on your email list for a long time. So in this scenario, it's got a video already prepared, or you can replace it with a script of you talking. If you are up for that, we encourage advisors to do it face to face. If not, there's something already for you. The video is designed to motivate them. That's the purpose. Motivate them to book a meeting with you. Like, here's all the things you need to be thinking about and you need to talk to an advisor about, basically. And right there on the page, very simple, a form where they can submit a question about what they just read or watched and move them to the next step. This process of text emails, visual content, and then video covers your gamut of how people learn. So you think about your current strategy so far. You can do a little test here. Am I segmenting my contacts? Is my system segmenting them for me? Second, are there separate nurture sequences for each of those contacts, the contact types for each of my audiences? Are they ready to go so all my leads get that treatment? And then, is there video content and visual content and engaging content peppered in there for people who learn in different ways? Those are fundamentals. But now, let's face it, if this is all you do, and then war breaks out in Iran, and the strait is closed, and oil prices are going through the roof, and inflation is out of control, people front and center, top of mind, are thinking about that. And so you need to understand that even in this case where you have this really robust system, you still need timely messages going out. These are examples of recent timely communications that advisors in our program have sent to their clients, right? When markets move fast, what should change? When higher prices stick around, what should I do, right? A lot about inflation. When the Fed disagrees on what to do with interest rates, what does that mean for me? When there's geopolitical volatility and the market's whipsawing all over the place, what should I do? These are things that people are worried about. So you have your core that includes the content we just talked about, and then you have these timely touch-base points. Because remember the core principles. Context is number one. So when you send something that strikes right to the heart of what people are worried about, You'll see your open rates go through the roof. You'll see your click rates go through the roof. You'll see your appointment requests go through the roof. But it has to be at the right time. So you've got to be ready for this. And the way we structure these, the way you should structure these, if you do this yourself, is you need to make sure it's bite size, it's data backed, it's visual, and there's a call to action. So you might recognize those are all different things we've talked about combined into one communication. Because now what we're trying to do is educate, build trust, and convert all at the same time. That's not so easy to do. But this is an example of a teardown from an email, right? So even if you educate them, it's not just commentary. This is where a lot of firms stop, right? They just have all this commentary. It's like, here's our commentary. Like, I'm so smart. I can write commentary. Like, people get commentary from all over the place. It's not about the commentary. They can read the commentary on CNBC. They can ask ChatGPT for the commentary. But what matters is how you take that commentary and you apply it to them personally. See that section right there? For your personal finances. That's what you do with the commentary. The visualization, the charts. You educate them. Here's a chart. Here's what it means. You're getting the visual people involved. You're educating and you're showing them exactly how it applies to them. And then, last of all, you're offering something. But it's not like, click here to book a meeting now with the big like flashing light call to action, because that's tacky in this situation. Instead, it's a light call to action. Hey, would you like to review how these shifts could affect you? Just reply. Just reply to this email. And that's it. They reply, and you're off to the races. So we've covered 4. I said I was going to share 5. We've covered 4. Right? You've got your basic nurturing sequence. You've got your visual content. You've got your video content, and you've got your timely content. There's one more. And this last one assumes that your prospects are dead. Maybe you've been doing marketing for years. People have been going to seminars. You've got their names and email and phone numbers, but you're just not doing anything with them. They're just kind of sitting there. That's a goldmine of opportunity. But they have to be approached differently. And so this is more for people who haven't been in the game, you could say. If you're not in this game, if you're not doing this, like you want to get in the game, this is where you start. You get all those leads into your database. You double check to make sure there's still active email addresses, active phone numbers. You don't want to get spam complaints. And then you hit them with something light, like, hey, it's been a while. I hope you don't mind, but I wanted to reach out and share a few things. And if you're not interested, just reply to me and say, I'm not interested, and I'll take you off my list. You don't want them clicking spam, right? So you have this little like warm-up message. And then what do? You might recognize this looks similar. You get them back into a prospect engagement sequence. But maybe it's a different one. Maybe it's something more timeless, evergreen for that audience that they're in. So they have to be enriched, right? If they're in retirement, for example, this is, you could say, like your one chance at bat. You're going to re-engage them. You want to make sure it's right. So you set up this reactivation campaign. What does it do? Customize it for your audience. You have that nice soft touch up front. And then over 2 or 3 months, you're just warming them back up, warming them back up. And finally, at the end, right, or somewhere in the middle strategically, they vary from audience to audience, you give them that offer. Are you ready to talk through this? So reactivation campaigns can be used at any time for prospects who've gone dead, who are no longer active, but they have to be thoughtful and strategic.